Hello, everyone. It's time for the series we've been waiting for, India versus England. The first test begins at Rajkot on Wednesday, and as always, Suneer and I are all set with our preview, prediction, and analysis. Hey, Suneer, what's up? You looking forward to this one?
You bet I am, Shruti. Ever since India's home schedule was announced, this England series and the one against Australia next year are the two marquee series most Test fans would be looking forward to. And I know you are looking forward to it too, given two of your favorite teams are looking to knock each other off the perch in this series, Shruti.
Yes, they are. They are my favorite teams, and somehow South Africa are sneaking in as well after their first win there. Now, coming into this one, India have lost 3 successive test series to England now. Might not be easy going for them into this test.
In fact, interestingly, in the last two series that these two teams have played, it has been India who has taken the 1-0 lead before losing 2 and 3 matches respectively in those two series. So even in that sense, India has a bit of history on their side, despite, as you rightly said, having lost 3 series in a row. That said, India are also coming off 4 successive test series wins, having beaten Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka, South Africa at home, then West Indies in the Caribbean, and then crushing New Zealand 3-0 recently. So you're looking at a very strong and confident India side, ready to take on the English challenge, Shruti.
And that makes me very, very happy too. So what do you make of the Indian squad, and what do you think of the possible playing 11?
Oh, well, bit of a long answer here, but the Saurashtra Cricket Association ground surface has been a subject of some criticism at the first class level for being over friendly for the spinners, and it will be interesting to see how it plays this time. The ground is yet to be used for a Ranji Trophy game this season, so that makes it even tougher to predict its nature. India have suffered a few injuries in recent times, but what makes it even more curious is that it's been their batsmen, not their bowlers, who have broken down. Shikhar Dhawan, KL Rahul, and now in Rohit Sharma, who seems to be out for a long, long time. I quite like the selection of Hardik Pandya to the squad, despite all the criticism that he has received for the supposed lack of temperament. He gives India multiple options, can come in as a third seamer if the pitch so demands, can also allow India to play a third spinner and take up the role of a new ball bowler in case the pitch is so spin friendly that India has no other option to do. And he's a reasonable number 8 batsman, if not a number 7, if he can also be developed as a number 7 batsman over a period of time. There's an option for India to play Karun Nair as well, but Kohli's penchant for an extra bowler might just win the day if that surface isn't as much of a Bunsen burner as it has been in the first class at the first class level. But moving on to you, Shruti, what do the cards reveal for the Team India?
Well, I'm going to begin with a concern. The cards indicate that they may have the tendency to focus solely on rectifying their weaknesses rather than creating a healthy balance with their tried and tested strategies that will actually work. So changes really should be implemented gradually. And I guess Team India should take this as just a word of caution from the cards.
Well, when you have Virat Kohli in the squad as a captain, you know that changes would happen given the amount of changes that he has made ever since taking up the Test captaincy role. But will this drastically affect the way India play and perform in this game?
Maybe not drastically affect every area of their game, but it looks highly likely to affect their bowling when the team first comes out on the field. It seems a little too nervous and possibly monotonous to me. At least batting in the first innings appears to have the right balance of aggression and maturity, and this will be much needed as batting in the second innings may not be as solid. Now, what I mean by that is the middle order could undo a good start and may leave the lower order to rectify their problems. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention bowling in the second half. Now, this is where I breathe a sigh of relief. The bowling should be so much better. It's tighter and has a more calculative approach and should make it tougher on England. Now, speaking of England, what do you make of them?
Shruti, since 2004, England have been the only side to win a Test series in England, in fact, in India, and it happened in 2012. Plus, they have been one of the 5 teams to have scooped up the number 1 ranking in Test cricket in recent times, with India, Pakistan, Australia, and South Africa being the others. There have been a few comparisons that have been made with the 2012 Test series when they overcame India and India to register that shock win. But there's a difference. There's no Kevin Peterson for obvious reasons. Graham Swan has retired bad, and Monty Panesar has had problems of his own and is no longer in flavor. The question then is whether they have apt replacements to take over those roles anyway, and we can probably look at the likes of Ben Stokes, Joss Butler, and Moeen Ali, who can all do similar jobs. But whether they can play as well with so little experience in the subcontinents remains to be seen, and we're talking about a 5-match series, so there's a good chance that they might improve over the series, but there's an equally good chance that they might be found out. So that's one thing to look forward to from England.
And that defeat to Bangladesh will sting, though. How do they shrug that off?
It would be hard to ignore it, given it was their first ever defeat at the hands of Bangladesh in Test cricket, to go with a first ever win for Bangladesh against a team apart from West Indies and Zimbabwe. Frankly, I was surprised to see England go down in the way they did, and even the way they won the first Test match by a narrow margin of 22 runs. There were two obvious problems, and these are the two obvious problems which most teams visiting the subcontinent face, batting against spin and bowling spin themselves. Speaking of their bowling, I think they did modestly all right in those conditions in Bangladesh, and with more experience, they should be fine. But the English batting could be a concern against a world-class spin bowling Indian attack. What has saved England in a lot of matches is their long batting lineup, one that sees a decent batsman in Adil Rashid coming out at 10. But can they get the balance right is what one needs to see in this series. What about England's cards, Shruti? Do they make you feel happy about their chances?
England's cards seem to show this desire to play relentless, aggressive cricket from the first Test match. They want all their plans bang on target from the get-go. No wait-and-watch attitude. It's definitely a great way to approach this series, but they may need to be a little bit more realistic than going all out this way.
And how do you see England play their two innings?
In the first innings, England's batsmen should start off quite balanced, but the middle order may struggle the most, only to be rescued by the lower order. As for their bowling, it's quite well balanced too, with an individual bowler's performance shining through, so watch out for that. Now, England's second innings batting is quite smart. They do face some tough bowling, but this is where I see the toughest battle between both the teams, especially as England look to be most aggressive here. The bowlers will be a bit of a letdown in comparison to how sharp they appear in the first half. So that's it for me, Suneer. Who's your pick for this opening Test match?
Well, India will be heavy favourites given what has happened in recent times from the Indian side and from the English side. But if England can bat first, some parity might be restored in the contest. You, Shruti?
Honestly, I'm a little stuck. There appears to be a lot of brilliance from both teams and quite a few disappointments too. So taking everything into account, I'll give a slight tarot advantage to India.
Well, 2-0 for India from us for the first Test match at Rajkot. But that's it from us. As always, a sincere request to please subscribe to the channel of ours. Your encouragement means a lot to us, and do follow us on Twitter at World Cricket Chat. That's World Cricket Chat. We'll be back soon. Bye for now.